one of my favorite things to make as a make-ahead breakfast is French toast casserole. So we usually do it on Christmas Eve. I make it all, put it in the pan and stick it in the refrigerator, and then Christmas morning, when the boys wake up, I throw it in the oven, and then I get to sit down and open presents with them because it takes an hour to cook. And that's the fun part of my day. So I have my very large stoneware pan. If you're not going to use stoneware, you're going to have to butter the pan. But because I use stoneware, it doesn't stick to it. I have 2 loaves of French bread that I'm just going to stack in here. I'm going to smush it a little. Smush it down a lot. Just make sure that it all fits in the pan. Okay, then we're going to make what is basically the custard of it. And that is 16 eggs that I'm going to whisk together. Just like that. I have 4 cups of half and half. I have 2 cups of whole milk. You can use 2% or a lighter milk, not a big deal. I have a 1/4 cup of sugar. 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And keep stirring. A teaspoon of cinnamon. And a teaspoon of nutmeg. And that's it. I'm going to stir it all together. And then I'm going to pour it over the bread. And then have my glove on because I don't know how I am about textures. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know how I am about feeling things with my hands. It's a necessary part of cooking, but I know I have texture issues. So I take this hand and then I make sure that all of the bread gets into the liquid like this. And then I'm going to cover it up. If you don't have a lid for your pan, tinfoil works. I have this one. Put it over the top. We are going to put this in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours, but I'm going to do it overnight. I'll be back in the morning. So it's Christmas morning, and I have to finish up this French toast casserole. So, all right, it's been in the oven overnight. I'm sorry, in the refrigerator overnight. Soaking in all that yummy custard. And now we're going to make the praline topping. So I have 4 sticks of unsalted butter. I have 2 cups of light brown sugar. I'm going to mix this together. So funny story, my husband likes nuts, pecans, walnuts, almonds, anything but pistachios really. And I do not. So I make this with the topping and I do half of it. I cover half with nuts and half without because I don't like them. So then I add a 1/4 cup of corn syrup. A teaspoon of nutmeg and a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to stir all that together. this is where. So I'm just going to take it by like little clumps and cover the top of half of it with what I have. So, as I said, we're just going to keep on half like this. You can smear it on. It doesn't make a difference, but we only want to do it on half. Okay. Then I'm going to add a cup of pecans. So if you want to do it on the whole thing with pecans, add 2 cups. I'm just going to add 1. Stir that in. And then drop it on the other half. And I chop the pecans really small because sometimes I end up with a piece with pecans in it and it doesn't bother me if they're super small. But if you want to chop them bigger, perfectly fine and acceptable. Ugh. Y'all, it is super early on Christmas morning. And I'm trying to get this done because there's a little 6-year-old waiting to open presents. And there we have. We're going to cook this in a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes, and then we'll be ready for breakfast. So, 45 minutes later, our French toast casserole is out of the oven. And look how pretty. Can't wait to dive into this one.